Hello and welcome to Colleague 7 Sprint Review of 17.06.01. This is for the development undertaken between the 31st of May to the 13th of June. Starting with the sprint goal, and we're continuing to work on performance improvements and items from the connectivity project. Also, when sending emails, we've added the option for users to look up and attach documents from all main entity types. Looking at the high-level items and to explain further, previously when sending emails from Colleague 7, if you wanted to attach a document, you needed to upload it from your local PC. We've changed this now so that users are able to look up and attach documents that are linked against other entities in the database. We've continued to make improvements with regards to performance. There were several minor updates which each had an impact in their own right, plus a larger piece of work against all main entities which prompts tab content to load on selection rather than during the initial load of the record. As part of the connectivity project, the working for us and under offer alert, which you see when you're accessing a candidate record, now gives you the link to the associated offer or placement. We've applied a revised style sheet to uniform the colours when mousing over fields and selecting options. We undertook an investigative item to do with meeting requests and task requests, and this sets out our diary management project, which we'll be delivering over the coming months. And I have an update with regards to our Power BI offering, which hooks into 7 to provide high-level up reporting and dashboard displays. We'll now go through a short demonstration on the main features from this sprint. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at the update that's been made to the email form relating to attachments and how you can source attachments from other entities in the record. So we're on a candidate here. If we go to email, and this will open up obviously the email form. I'll start by just typing in something generic. Please find attached, that'll do. Okay, so against attachments here, what we now have are three options. It used to be that there was one option and you'd upload the attachment from your local PC. You can now select Add File Attachment, which will be the documents that are associated with this record. So if I select that there, you can see that there's now a drop-down list here, and this is all of the files that are associated against this candidate record. So if we just select that as an example. The next one down is lookup file attachment. So on selecting this, it will launch a quick search, which allows you to essentially type in and look up another record on the system. If we do a company record, we'll hit select there, and then what's happened is this attached file drop-down list is now updated to be based on the company's attachments. So we'll select one there. Let's do another one as well. Say that we're looking to include a job specification, say from requirements. Search there, and then we'll pick a requirement there. And again, this list is updated now to reflect that. And then, of course, off the list, there's still the option there to upload the file attachment. So you can click on that, and it will allow you to upload a file from documents, say. So you've got 4 different attachments there that have been attached from 4 different areas of the system and on your PC, and that you can obviously then send that. Now the files that have been attached from the various different records will then have a history note associated to them. So if I go to history here, you'll see that a document has been emailed out specifically mentioning that document that was attached to that email, and that is the same for the company that we looked at, the requirement that we looked at as well. It will have a document emailed out history type associated with that process, and that's the update that's been made there. The next point to cover, and it's just a very quick one, is just regards to the working for us and under offer alert message that you'll see when you're accessing a candidate record. So as an example, when you go into a candidate record that is currently in a placement, you see this blue bar across the top here. What you now have is an option to obviously click through and go through into the associated record. So if there's an offer relating to the candidate, you can quickly access that offer. If there's a placement relating to that candidate, you can obviously quickly access that placement. The next point I'd like to cover is following on from the updates that were made as part of the last sprint relating to performance. So in the previous sprints, we worked on improving the speed of documents received, and also when accessing a candidate record, the performance of that. We've now basically built on those performance improvements across the system to affect all main entities. So as an example, if I go into a candidate record, just so you can get a feeling for the sort of speed that's now being made available. So that's a candidate record. If we go into a company record, that's the company record loaded. And let's go into a contact record. And again, obviously the performance is there to be seen in terms of the speed of opening record. The reasons why have been down to some updates we've made to the code relating to database calls, but also in terms of the way that we're loading tab content. So when you're loading a record now, some of the main areas are loaded as part of that process, but some of the tab content is essentially on request. So as you access certain tabs, it's going to perform that retrieval and then display in the data table there. Most of the tables will load nice and fast anyway, but it's just to be aware that that's now the way in which the system is working, and it's deemed as obviously a more optimal experience for the end user in terms of retrieving that data. As a last point, I will go to a requirement record just to demonstrate opening that as well. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's the performance work we've done. Okay, the next point I wanted to cover was regards to the styling updates that we've made. So previously, as the different tabs were worked on and as the different functionalities were added, the colouring schemes that were used would on occasion differ from page to page and tab to tab. And what we've had to do is obviously go for a process of uniforming the colouring to ensure that we're deploying same styling across the entire system. So when you're accessing table rows, the colouring schemes that you'll see here will be reflected throughout the system. So examples, the skills here, showing ownership here. It's just the same colouring scheme are being used. The events area has also been updated so that it's just better reflective of what you see within the Outlook application in terms of the colouring scheme that's being utilised there. The last point I wanted to touch on was with regards to our Power BI reports, or specifically give you a heads up on where we are with that development project and that integration as a whole. The first point, before touching on that really, I wanted to, as a point of note, just draw attention to the potential value field that's been added to the requirement. This was put in a couple of sprints back, but it's specifically being used in the Power BI reports when we're forecasting requirement revenue and interview potential revenue. So that's just a point of note here regards to that potential value field. But the specific works relating to this sprint was the addition of this Power BI option that you can now see in the main menu. Now the URL behind this Power BI report is obviously going to differ from client to client, and that URL is stored within admin against a global setting. But when you click on the Power BI link, it will then take you into Microsoft Power BI, and it will bring through the data obviously from your system launched in the dashboard displays and reports that we've written to date against the system. What I wanted to do also was maximize the view here just so that it helps with the display. Bear in mind that the design is still to be finalized, and also we're dealing with test data, so some of the values here perhaps won't be as informative as they could be. But what I wanted to do is obviously allow you to see what we're working on and what we're aiming for, essentially to give you a feel for that. So you've got the different options here that are being added along the bottom as the main slides relating to the reports. And you have the option to drag around to change the date ranging. Against this is the requirement overview board as an example, so it's giving us an idea of the live requirements being worked obviously within this pickup date range. You've obviously got the option as well to specify different teams relating to those requirements that are being worked, and that potential value field that I referred to earlier is being pulled through into here. You have got the option to select on different views here and obviously update the data dynamically within here. Perhaps I'm not choosing the best examples, but again, what I'm trying to do is give you an overview as to what we're aiming for, what we're working towards at the moment. If we go on to interview quickly, again, there's just another overview display. Can move around the date range, and then it just pulls through just the different consultants that you have against the selected team or everyone, and obviously potential values of what they're working with regards to interviews, and also placement value as well, and just some stats that you can see there, and some other options here as well. If we go into the placement overview, we can see a map grid be displayed based on the placements that we're working. So let's just move that date range around there, and you can see here it's just giving us more options in terms of how we can display data to you, in terms of line graphing, bar charting, geomap displays, and obviously table displays as well. So this is what we have been working on. All of it is fully linked in terms of the data that's held within Colleague 7 and how it's pulled through into Power BI. Obviously, what we're finalising is the specific displays, the specific values that you're looking to receive, and also the styling and design of the boards themselves as well. But as an overview, this is just a heads up in terms of what we're working towards, and obviously more updates will follow over the coming weeks as we progress further with this project. As always, if you have any queries or feedback, please get in touch. I'll be keen to hear from you. Also, for those using our beta release, feel free to submit your enhancement request via the user voice integration. The next video will be the sprint plan for 17.06.02, and as before, this will contain a high-level overview on the items we intend to work on during this sprint. Thanks for watching.